Kia ora e te whānau. So on my last journal, the last 3 journals, I'd done something I called a slide lock flip out. I don't know. I'd never seen it before. It was just something that came out of my head. I'm sure it's been done and I'm sure it's got a name. But a few of you were interested in knowing how to do that, so I thought I would jump on. So in my next journal, which is going to have a lot of holly hobby in it, quite a nostalgic little journal, I'm just going to, I think we'll cover up that page because that's nothing special, but I quite liked that page. So what you're going to need is a piece of scrapbook paper, 12 by 12, so that you've got enough room to fit it on the page and enough for the fold down and the fold up to meet perfectly. Then you're going to need an image that you've cut to fit that. You can use it so that it's just as big as the scrapbooking paper, but I quite liked the border and how it matched this image. I'm going to use some quite heavy card. I'm pretty sure this is 300 GSM. It's quite sturdy. Some paper to cover it. You're going to need to have cut 2 circles. Doesn't really matter what size you use. I just wouldn't go too small, and you'll see why. Because you're going to need one for the front and the back if you're a perfectionist like me and you don't want to see the brown card on the back, and you do want to cover where we glue that bit down. I've tried to prepare as much as possible so that we can move along and I don't keep you here forever. Oh, I'm back. Sorry, I just had to find where I'd misappropriated this. So something to make a tassel out of. How I've done that is I've just got some crochet cotton and it's a 3 string, and I just cut pieces and I pull them apart, and I like doing that because it's got this lovely crinkled effect from the twist, and that is 5 pieces of that pulled apart and laid out. So we will need that. You're going to need scissors, ruler, glue, craft knife, ink. We know I love ink, so ink and dauber. And let's get started. I'm sure there's something that I've missed, but we'll go with this. Okay, so once you've cut those 2 images there, what we need to do, just put these aside for a second, is I just need to glue with my border that much onto there. Okay, so I'll fast forward this part for you. Okay, please ignore me gluing there, just a boo-boo, but we will keep going. Then I need to perfectly slice this off without taking any of that with it. So I just want to slice the image off the end, and yes, I would probably do this up the other way usually if there wasn't glue in my way. Then I just want to glue this so that it's perfectly matching the upper image. So again, I'll fast forward this. There we go, I'm pretty happy with that. Just check there's no overlapping there or there. Now would be an amazing time to ink through there if you want to. I'm quite happy for it just to be hidden, so I don't want to ink it. I want it to look like a completely full image. It does mean that when you open it that's not going to be inked, but I'm okay with that. So now that we've done that part, I'm not going to bother, by the way, showing you I just put a piece of note paper that I fold up there. I put a piece of coffee stained note paper there to write on, and I usually just make a little pocket down here. I'm sure you guys can decorate that however you want. I think it's this part that you were wanting to see. Okay, so this guy here, all I've done is I got a piece of card, and all you need to do is make sure that when you put it on here, you've got some room over here. So this means that I could make my slider part about this big, but we are going to cut in slightly so that we can make this part here. Okay, so I wrap that whole piece of paper, card, sorry, in paper. So I'll glue that on, I'll fold that over, and I do want to go past here, so sorry, glue, pop it on there, leave this part, you'll see why we need that, glue, fold that over, and then cut up there, glue that together. Okay, so then we're just left with a piece that looks like that, but slightly larger. Then I line it up on my cutting board, and I just come in 0.5 straight up and 0.5 straight up. This here doesn't need to be much because the slider that's on the back of that is going to be the perfect fit for this. It's just something to stop the slider coming off the bottom because that could be annoying. The other thing you need to make sure is that where your cardboard ends, so this is going to fold over there, this part doesn't go below the fold. Otherwise, obviously, this won't shut because this goes in there like that, and then it slides down. So this is why I leave the paper. I don't want to have to fold that 300 GSM card and have that fold there to bulk up this too much. 2 layers of paper seems fine to open and close it with a bend. Okay, so then the other thing I need to do is, this is a slightly lighter card and I've just covered it, as you can see, with the same sort of paper. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have that on a nice 90-degree angle, only if you are an art/maths teacher. And then you want to fold one side in, and you don't want to fold this one too flush to here, okay, because it's going to make it harder to slide if it's a really tight fit. So I just, rather than folding the next one like that, I just pull it out slightly, about 2 millimeters top and bottom, try to make sure it's as even as possible, and then I will fold that marker. Okay, just so see how easy that slides, whereas if it was the perfect fit, we would struggle. Okay, so then I'm just going to cut that little bit off so that it's almost to that fold. So not quite flush with that fold, and then I'm going to fold that over, check my size. Obviously I need to trim a little bit off that side as well, and then I need to glue. Very important not to glue right into there, because remember, it doesn't go all the way, there is that gap. So I guess this is more just the process of doing this. I'm sure you guys can figure out how to do this quite easily, but the what goes first, second and third to get the glue and the thing moving is probably the issue. Okay, I'm not going to do it then. I was looking for my door buff, but okay, so now once that's on there, we can slide quite nicely, and we will put tassels on it so that it's even easier, which has been a development in the design process. Okay, so now we need to go back to the sky, and I've just Fabri-Tacked a little bit of ribbon on the top one. I'm just a nice little flat ribbon. Don't use anything too bulky because you're going to sandwich that between two layers of cardboard. And then you are going to, and that's only if you want to hide this. I don't want to see that. That's not pretty. And then we need to glue the back plate on. And you can see I just held these together and punched a hole through it because I want to put an eyelet in. So I'm just going to dry that, and I'm just going to chuck an eyelet through there. I don't think you need to watch me do that. I might find my daughter and ink that on the sly when I'm off camera. Back soon. Okay, I'm back, and yes, I inked. Oh my gosh, I can't help myself. I just have to do it. Okay, we've popped an eyelet in there. Now we need to do our tassel. So I am just going to make this easier to get it through rather than using those fiddly little ends. I'm just going to twist that, and then I'm going to be able to get that through nice and easily. And then I am going to find the middle. Hopefully get all of them. And there we go. Then you've seen me use these little things before. I think they're like for leather necklace ends, but don't quote me. I just get them off Temu, these things, and I just cut there so that I've got a little pinch for the tassel. So just get my wire cutters and snip that off. Then I want the right side with the prettier bit there. I'm just going to pop that on there. Make sure that they are, I just gently push that down with my fingers first. Make sure I've got it exactly where I want it, because they're quite flexible. And then I'll get my pliers and give them a good squeeze. Let me find my pliers. I swear this is the bed of doom. I lose everything. It's just like a massive desk, but oh my gosh. Okay, and then I'm probably going to want to make those a little bit shorter, so I will just give them a bit of a snip. Quite like it long, but a little bit of a haircut. There we go. Okay, now this goes onto here, and you've got your bit where you glued it and your nice smooth side. Now I usually glue it onto the bit with the fold. It doesn't seem to interfere, and I will just show you. Then when that flips up, you don't see anything ugly on that side. Okay, so basically you just need to make sure that you get that quite straight glued onto there and quite even, so that it's the circle's even when it's slid back on there. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. I'll be back in a second. Okay, last steps. So you don't have to make this a circle, you can make it a square, but when it slides on, it is more obvious when it's not evenly that glued to the square, and when it's wonky. Okay, so see, that slides up nice and down there, nice and easy. Now all we need to do is glue that in the middle. Is that about right? It's pretty much right. So I'm just gonna hold that exactly where it needs to go. Hope this has been an easy process for you. Try to make my tutorials as simple as possible. Now we're not going to see this because now I'm going to glue this entire thing onto there. You could leave one side open if you do want to make it a pocket. I like to glue it down because the paper that I'm usually gluing it to is quite flimsy, and this reinforces the paper at the same time, so that I can quite happily, if it's pattern paper or something quite simple, sorry, I'll fast forward this. Okay, so now we have our locked slide, and that's not going to open at all, and she stays nice and closed. If you do want her to slide down further, all you've got to do is make sure that this here is maybe a little bit shorter so that you've got more room there, and then it will slide down further. But I wanted her to hide Holly Hobby's little head there, so yeah, there we go, done. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope that's what you wanted to see, and I will keep working on my little Holly Hobby journal. That was my first effort ever at quilting there. Terrible, terrible, but it's serving the purpose for the cover that it's going to be. So I'm happy with it. It's not too bad. All right, you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I will continue with this. And I didn't even close that right. There we go. Okay. Have an amazing week, and until next time, love you guys. Thank you for all your support. Bye for now.